Well, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. A little bit flustered. Zoom was spinning on my computer and I wasn't able to open, so I'm a little bit late. So thank you for waiting on me, and we're ready to go. All right, Being Mastery. Today is going to be the 15th of August, and what we do here is get deeper into concepts that will help you in your business. I don't know if Louise is there yet. She might be. I haven't looked at my screen. However, if you'd like to put in the chat what you'd like to talk about. As I teased you this morning on Recon, I spent some time this morning on GPT chat. And this was my question. Every Friday, I do a quick video, probably a minute and a half is the best length for me to text to the sellers. Now, I've got great agents that are talking to the sellers. So if you're on a team or you're a team leader and you want to help your agents, them hearing the message from somebody else is helpful. So just for kicks and giggles, I did ask chat this morning when I was doing my walk, what would you say to sellers right now in this market? We're in a buyer's market, there's heavy inventory. And they came up with a list of different things here that I'm just going to share a couple ideas with you in my quick thoughts. Number one, why your days on the market matter more than you think. Explain how buyer psychology shifts after 30 to 60 days on the market. Now, that got me going down a tangent. Now, GPT chat is not some sort of wizard. They're taking all kinds of information from everything has been published in the typical canon of real estate beliefs that exists out there. And then they're shooting it out like a Google, only better. And that one got me going. I'll come back to that in a second. I would love to have some discussion with you on that. The second one was the price reduction stigma, how to beat it. And they're saying, address why waiting too long to adjust the price can backfire. I'll just stop right there. How many of you guys have been taught such things as that? That's kind of the general consensus out there. And here is what I believe, and I want to know if you want to get to a new level. Let's have a discussion. This is mastery. You won't hear this anywhere else. First of all, ask chat to go into a deeper conversation with me on why the days on the market penalize the seller. And what do you think they had to say? They quoted the studies that say, okay, that when a house is on the market too long, then eventually it sells for less, like 18% less. I don't know. So if it sits on the market, it sells for 18% less. So now I'm on a mission to convince GPT chat that they're wrong. Would you like to have some discussion around that? Because I want you guys to understand why the market works. All right. And you can put it in the chat. I'm going to pull it up here and see what you have to say. And I don't have to get on my soapbox. However, this is an important one. Anybody have any comment on that? Didn't I have analogies for the question? Why should we hire you? Can I practice? Yeah, sure, fan. Here in just a second.
The statistic on.
Go ahead.
The statistic on days on market has no reflection if the seller overpriced the home.
Okay.
So it says it's a 20% difference on days on market, but that's, you don't know, you know what the seller positioned the property at.
So let's just, that's kind of the thesis of it. So here's what I want you to know as masters in this business is the fact that time on the market, let's just assume right now you can freeze the market. There's no change in market. And this is a big if. And we're going to give it a time frame of 90 days. Now, do you guys think, generally speaking, you can put in the chat or you can speak up, we've got a very small group here, that 90 days, there is a period where the days on the market start working against the seller. In fact, put in the chat what you've been taught. If you don't have it sold by X number of days, it's starting to work against the seller. I'm just kind of curious what you'd have to say. Oh, I got Louise coming in. 30 days. Okay, Maria, thank you. 2 weeks. Depends on price. 7 days, 14. Okay. I don't have a right answer for you, but here's the thing I want to suggest to you. This is the concept I want to see if you buy into or not. If you can freeze market conditions over a period of 90 days, there's no change in market conditions. And if a seller, your listing goes on the market on day one, too high, and they reposition at day 90, or maybe even a couple of times up until day 90, will they get less than if they positioned it at that number to begin with? So what I'm saying is, if we're freezing market conditions, if they would have come up with the right price on day one, the right price would be top market value. I'm not talking about multiple offers, this, that, and the other. Would they have gotten more money then than they would at day 90? So Louise, I see Louise here. Let's see if I can make you a co-host. I don't know if I can here really fast. So somebody come up and tell me what you've been taught on that, because I'm going to challenge, except for one issue, and I'm going to give you a new analogy, then we'll go into role play. It's called the first cast of the day analogy. Okay, first cast, like fishing. So Louise, you think they'll get less in 90 days because of days on the market? That's what you've been taught, right?
Yes, I believe that days on market is the enemy to a home's value.
Okay, why?
Well, if you have two identical products, right, with two different prices, product A price X, product B price Y, and then product A goes under contract and sells, and product B is still on the market, and then it reduces to price X over a period of time, the difference is no longer price, it stays on market. So if it was such a hot commodity, why wasn't it purchased earlier? When we buy a vehicle, we pay more for vehicles with lower mileage than more mileage. When I go to the produce department at the grocery store, I want the fruit that's fresh, not spoiled.
All right, so Fan, you said yes. Kelly says no. There's another yes. The market pays what it's willing to pay. Well, okay, so David, now that's interesting. So Kelly, you say no. Defend your position.
Well, I believe you said if everything stays constant in that 90-day period,
Yep.
and nothing's changing, then you have uncertainty with not just buyers but also sellers in that market. So because of that, so my position is, because of that lack of confidence or the stagnation in the economy, it causes things to remain the same. So that first day is going to be no different than a 90-day, because diminishing marginal utility hasn't set in yet.
Okay. Here's the thought I'm going to leave you with the analogy of the first cast of the day. So I'm talking to GPT chat, and this just came out. You know me and analogies. I love analogies. So when you go fishing and you find your spot, whether it's on a pier or on a boat, the first cast of the day, how high are your expectations? I mean, they're high, right? You're alert, you're ready, you got, okay, come on, fishy, right? Now, let's assume now it's an hour into the day and you're casting. What's your expectations? Higher or lower?
They will continue to decline over time.
Right. So my theory is this, and I'm not saying anyone's wrong, but here's my theory. If you can freeze the external environment, and if you have the right price, top market value, let's say it's 500,000 at day one, and the market has not changed, you'll get 500,000 at day 90. Because the buyers that will pay 500 won't be the new buyers coming in. There will be the buyers that have maybe been seasoned a little bit and they will recognize value. So you start at 600, then at day 80, you lower it to 500. It becomes a new position. I believe the home will sell for what the top market value is, and you will not be penalized by days on the market, with one exception. And this is the thing, this is a conversation I want you to make a note of, the first cast of the day when you work with sellers and buyers. Remember, the axiom is top market value is not known until you expose it to the market. You all got that. You've heard me say that over and over again. I have pajamas with that printed on it, right? I have all my real estate axioms on my pajamas. So when you list a home, that's why we can't say the seller's wrong. We have the better way listing, right? Hey, we show the market showing 500, they want 600. Can we say 600 won't happen? No, there's a possibility. However, then we know the three outcomes. Now let's have a conversation with the buyer. You guys are working with buyers out there. Now, and this would be a great role play. Buyers are always looking for new listings. And when that new listing hits the market, I'm calling that the first cast of the day. What's the seller's expectation? It's high. All right. Now, the buyer sees that it's new on the market. What's the buyer thinking? What goes through the buyer's mind when they see a new listing?
The price is gonna come down.
All right. They might sense it to be, well, that's way more than I'll pay, right?
Excited that it just came to the market.
Well, let's say it comes into the nibble range. Not somebody who's smoking sweet and low, but it comes into the nibble range. What's going through the buyer's mind?
Good
It's
deal.
a fear. What's the fear?
Somebody else buys it.
Right? Fear of loss. So I'm not saying there's not some advantage if we have the power to do it, to be closer to market value up front, because of the first cast of the day mentality, meaning no one knows how the fish are going to bite, but an hour or so later, 2 weeks later, you already know. I mean, you've been fishing there for 2 hours. You're not even watching the bobber anymore. You're on your phone. You're playing Shania Twain. You're doing something, right? You're not even into it anymore. So we can role play. I would love to role play buyer stuff, or even the sellers, but the seller's role. But are you hearing me what I say? Now, this may be more technical than you want. You know, you may not want to understand how the airplane's built. You just want to fly from here to Boston.
Denny,
Hello.
I had a for sale by owner say, well, I've been on the market only for 35 days and average days on the market is over 40, so I'm good. And I was just like, okay, how would you handle that?
Okay. All right. So are you saying then it's been on the market 35 days, the average is 40, right?
Yes.
Anyone want to take that? I can role play it, but who wants to take it?
I'd ask, well, do you have an average house?
Well, first of all, what does the average mean?
Some above, some below.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, so the bottom line is, okay, so the average is the middle point. So, I would, if it was that scenario, then do you want me to call you in 5 days? Again, I'm agnostic. However, if you want to really, then if you really want to get them, then the average, then you could pull this up in your multiple listing service. Okay, the average is would you say 40 days? And you're on the market 35 days? Well, the lowest time on the market was 1 day. The highest was 380. So obviously we didn't make the low end. You want to try for 380?
Ouch.
All right, Louise, who's in? I know Fan wants to role play something, and who else is in there? Let's go ahead and get cracking. I've had my little sermonette. Hello, McFly.
Denny, can I add one thing that I experienced in the market?
Sure, David.
Positioning. During the peak of the market, some agents in the local market had a strategy to underprice the property to create, additional momentum on the listing. And I found that, especially in today's market, buyers are more conscious of what other similar properties are selling for than
Hang
ever
on, David.
before.
Hang on. Where's the background noise coming from? Can you see it? Who's in? Hello,
Ramon.
Ramon. Background noise.
He's muted.
Thank you, Louise.
That
So
in
go
that-
ahead, David.
Yes, in that strategy that some agents utilize to create the momentum on a property by underpricing it, I still found that buyers in today's market, more so now than ever before, are very familiar with similar properties and what they've sold for. Since it's public information, that's why I do think that the market's going to pay what it's going to pay, whether it's underpriced or overpriced. It's just buyers have access to information more so. There's always the anomaly of a property that has unique features that you might say, what is that worth? But the rule of thumb on a traditional property, I do think that buyers are more knowledgeable than before, which supports that the market's going to pay what the market's going to pay.
Yes. And does anybody on the call use the philosophy if you can price it low, underprice it purposely in order to get a lot of eyeballs and a bidding war? Anybody? I mean, I cannot say that that's a bad philosophy,
That's my philosophy.
right?
And it looks like a charm.
Well, what's the downside of that philosophy, you guys? Louise, what's the downside of that? Yeah, it works like a charm, but where does it not work?
In a shifting market.
No, maybe not in this. No, it'll work in any market, but there's a
No, but what I mean is when you price it below the current market and the market is trending down. So if you don't anticipate I guess you still need to always price it right. I'm thinking of the pricing pyramid in the MREA book, the red book.
Yeah, here's the downside of that. If in a perfect world, if you could price every $100 bill at $95, you'll have more than one buyer looking at it, and you'll sell it. It'll be bid up to something, and maybe it would be bid up at top market value. I will give you that. Here's the downside of that. You're going to find some sellers that will not do that. They want a higher number. They don't want to price it down here because to them, it's like jumping out of an airplane without a parachute. Trust me, we'll find one on the way down. And if they're interviewing agents, you will lose listings if that's the only arrow you have in the quiver. That's the downside.
Oh, it should
So-
not be the only arrow you have in your quiver, right? It should be one of the many talents that you present.
Well, if you guys remember, I've got point A and point B on my graph. I go through that, and then basically they can choose. If they have point A in mind, okay, this is how we're going to roll. One of three things. One of three things that happen to point B, it might get bid up. But we know, everyone on this call knows, you guys, that if you have multiple offers on a listing that has nothing to do with your marketing prowess, or your sign that has spinners on it, etc., it has to do with you've listed it below market value. So Louise? I think I lost you there for a second. I think there's other people want to get into a conversation. So what's on the docket today?
I don't see anything on the docket because I came in late, but
Yeah, you did. Fan, what was it?
I came up with a couple of analogy for the value proposition. Why should I hire you?
All right. Well, my socks are rolling up and down now. I love analogy. Let's go.
I'm having a conversation with you, Danny, right?
Why not?
Okay, so you asked me the question.
Why should I hire you?
Danny, are you married?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Kind of,
No.
sort of.
Okay, well, at what point did you know your spouse was the person you wanted to marry?
Still contemplating that.
Let me ask you this. What was the
No, the reason
one?
I'm having fun. I'm having fun with you.
Okay,
When you go down that road, it can be a little bumpy, but let me just play it straight, okay?
go ahead.
Well, I tell you, I tell you what. I met her at a conference one time, and I thought, I mean, I heard the angels sing, and it was awesome. I knew then.
Okay, Danny. So when you first start dating, you weren't sure you will marry your wife, but over time, you knew they were the one. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I almost screwed it up on our first date. The waiter came over and asked us if we wanted dessert. And I said, with my sense of humor, she doesn't have one. I didn't know that at the time. Yes, please. Could we have whipped cream to go? And almost screwed it up. I thought it was pretty funny. But yes, over time, we kind of like, ladies, now that wouldn't that impress you on your first date if your husband had that sense of humor, that quick wit? Susan, you would love that. You know you would. So keep going. I'm biting.
Yes, Danny. Choosing an agent is the same. That's why I offer a 30-day guarantee. We're going to work as a team in the 30-day, and in the first 30 days, if I'm not delivering, you can fire me.
All right. Now, you guys, here's where we're going to have you are the judges in the Olympic diving contest, and Greg Louganis just did that dive. That was called Fan. You can give him a score. 10 is a perfect dive, no splash, knife in the water, and a 7 is a belly flop. So give Fan a little rating on his analogy, and let's see if we can turn this into something. Nine years and counting. Well, you know that, Louise. Thank you for reminding me. Come on, you guys, put it in the chat. I want to know what you think. This is
Hey,
the all get.
While they're posting, may I share the most hilarious DTD2 touch this week?
Oh,
Is
you
that
may.
cool? Okay, so I called a woman in my database to ask how her birthday was the previous day, and I got her voicemail. And since I have her husband in my database too, I called him to ask how was your wife's birthday, and he said he forgot it. And I said, "Oh, that doesn't sound good." I said, "How about this? I've got your back. I will make sure you don't forget it anymore. And I will put on the calendar your wife's birthday. How many days in advance would you like me to notify you?" And he loved it, right? So why am I sharing that?
That's good. I mean, we're waiting for people to chat. No one's chatting. I don't know. People don't have.
Well, I'm sharing it because we help people for more. We do more than just help people buy and sell homes. We help them in general, right? And when we come with sincere intentions of helping, who do you think is their go-to agent?
The Fan. So Kelly, you said a 6. Anybody else have an opinion? I'll give you my opinion. You know how you can make it better?
By queuing it up differently.
You make it shorter. You know my period is my dating period 7 days. Try me out. Test drive me for 7 days. 30 days is a long time. But that goes back to the value of proposition, Fan, that you're working on is what are your guarantees? So you have a 30-day guarantee, which is great. Mine's 7. Kelly put in his 15.
Okay.
Let me ask you this question, though. Are you going to know anything about them before you use that analogy? What if he lost his wife a year ago? All right.
Here's the thing, Danny. I came up with 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 different analogy that I want to share with you, and I want to see how's that, passing the test, basically. But you know that could happen, like you said. You know, wife could not be the case, but I have a different ones.
We'll come back to that in a moment, Finn. Hang on. We'll get to them. They're trying to get people to get a little lively in the chat. They've been a little bit stubborn. So, Louise, anybody else put something in there? I'm rolling back here. Let's do a
Oh,
hard.
wait, yeah, we do have one. We actually do have one. Maria would like to know if she can practice the interest rate objection for an expired seller.
Okay, you're coming to me, Maria. Go.
So Denny, what's preventing you from putting the home on the market again?
Well, it's just right now. I think it's probably interest rates are going to drop. I think so. I think waiting. I think they say by the next meeting of the Fed is in September. So I think I'll wait. It's not very far away. So let's just wait maybe 30 days.
And how do you think the rates going down will benefit you?
Rates going down will help me in my next purchase because I'm going to probably go, have to take out a little loan, and it probably may increase buyer activity in my house.
And what happens if they don't go down?
What did I lose?
Well, let's just say they do go down. And like you mentioned, there's going to be more buyer activity. Is it possible that there are other sellers out there who are waiting for the same thing to happen?
Maybe, but I mean, there'd be more sellers, but there's more buyers. So that seems like they cancel each other out, kind of like working with fractions.
And that's one way to look at it, but can I expand on that?
Okay.
Right now we have, what are you noticing with the current market right now?
I didn't quite, you kind of cut out. Would you say it again?
What are you noticing with the current market right now? Is it
What do I
benefiting
know?
you?
What do I know about it?
What is it working against you, or is it working?
Oh, I
just
see. I
helping
see.
you?
I think it's kind of staying the same.
Kind of staying the same. What do you mean?
It's not changing. I mean, I think prices are flat. It's not really going up or down. So I think it's about the same.
Would you say there are more sellers or buyers out there right now?
Balance, probably.
So
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
yes.
Why do you want me to list now?
Well, I don't know if you should list now, Denny, but I guess what I'm trying to help you understand that if there's a lot of inventory right now, and when the interest rates drop, there's going to be even more sellers on the market. So how would that benefit you?
Well, like I said, we had this conversation already. If there's more sellers on the market because they think the market's better, would there not be more buyers? So what is the reason why? I want to see if you can defend it. And I don't know how many people are going to be this direct with you, but I want you to be able to handle anything, right? I want you to handle a fastball. What's the biggest advantage in me in waiting?
Well, so I see people posting in the chat, you would be a buyer as well. So maybe if I go into, let's say that you do sell it and then you buy it, what happens to the prices when the rates go down?
So here's the reason, here's what I wanted to now drill in on. Now you had the fundamentals of what you're doing were good. You didn't have to get into the difference in payments or whatever, because I'm waiting on something here. How do I know? How will the people you work with know that you're playing it down the middle and you're not sitting there with commission breath? And one of the ways they're going to know is you help them do a Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin is the advantages of doing it on one side, the disadvantages of the other. And there are some advantages of them waiting. Help them. And there's some disadvantages. So when you play it down the middle and you help them enumerate them and even write them down on kind of the left side, right side. Now that I know, when you can do that, instead of always seem to me working against me, that I feel like you're getting me to want to list it right away because you want a listing to win the salesman of the month and you win sock of the month club or something. then I know you are actually playing it down the middle. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you
So-
can you go over that again, Denny?
The Sock of the Month Club?
No, just to play it down the middle of Ben Franklin.
Oh, yeah. Would it be something along the lines of this? Kelly, I don't know if selling right now is the best option for you. Let's talk about it. These are the benefits, these are the detriments. Which way would you like to move forward? Like, just give them their options.
Yeah, it would be a conversation. You know, what do you see as the advantages of waiting? Okay, and then don't be afraid to like pipe in. Oh yeah, I can see that. That could be whatever. Or what are the what are potential downsides of waiting? Now in Florida, or if you're in a market that, and you were pressing me and on the market, which is good. What she was doing, guys, because she's been on these calls a lot, she wasn't going ahead and spouting a lot of Poindexter facts and figures about what the market's doing. She was asking me my opinion, because my opinion of the market is important. I played it tough on her. I played it's balanced. Okay, so whether I'm right or wrong, that's my opinion. If I would have said, well, I think it's working against me, that would have been a lever to say, okay, well, then if you wait, is there a possibility you might get less? So Kelly, what I'm saying, you know what a Ben Franklin is, right?
Yeah, no, just conceptually, I was trying to just put this umbrella together with the different options of playing it down the middle. So yes, I do know what that is.
Yes. So for those people that don't, it's just what's the pros and the cons of making a decision. We do it all the time. Sometimes we do it in our mind. You drive by a gas station, you need gas lights on. They're asking 318. Well, okay. I saw 288, I think, down there a ways. Okay, what's the pros and cons? Well, if I go down, the pros is I'll save some money if I get there. The cons are if I run out of gas, I'm in trouble. So we kind of do it naturally. So we help them with the pros and cons. What I'm saying though is we talked about it before, be agnostic. Is it possible you're meeting with a seller that waiting might be the best thing? Maybe they just went through a life-changing experience. They lost a spouse, a divorce. Is sometimes waiting, and not making major decisions the right thing for them? When you do that, going back to Louise's, like, oh, hey, I'll call you. So you don't never have to miss the birthday again. I got your back. I mean, that's the kind of, taking care of people that will keep them loyal to you. All right, fan, give us number 2.
All right, Danny. So you asked why you should hire me. Denny, have you ever used a dating app or know someone who has?
Yeah. Well, I have never had to. No, I haven't. I haven't had to because my phone rings off the hook naturally. No, but I had friends use it, right?
Gotcha. So here's the thing. From the conversation you with your friends, even with great photos, if your filters are off, you don't got matches. So selling the home is the same. If the price term don't line up with the market, no one swipes right. So my job is to line it so buyer can't resist.
Okay. Anyone want to give them any comments on that?
Yes. Hey,
Wait,
fan.
hang on, Louise, hang on.
Mhm.
Hang on. I know you got one. I can't wait to hear it. So I want to hear it. You guys, come on, speak up. It's just us.
The dating app. I like it. I mean, I've never used a dating app. I'm kind of like you, Denny, on that. I don't even know people that have used a dating app. So, but I hear them talk about it. All right. I hear them talk about it. I don't know if it's a trigger or not. Like, I like the humor of it, but you're selling your house. So I don't, I don't know which direction. I guess you got to know your audience. I'm going to go back to what Denny says. Know your audience. Know what, I don't, the analogy there, might work with the Gen Zers. Maybe they're into that. But yeah, just know your audience. I think it's a good starting point. But I'm not 100% sure on the dating app. Maybe translate it to realtor.com or the Zillow app or something, just I'm not really sure where to go with the dating app.
Louise? You're muted.
Okay, so it sounds very Chat GPT to me. And did you get these from Chat GPT, fan?
Yes.
Did you take
Oh.
did you take the first answer, or did you
Well-
did you use it as a thought partner? And
Well,
and wordsmith
well,
it?
this dating app one was from ChatGPT, but the married one was inspired by Denny and Matt. I think they kind of talk about it, but I was, so that's my honest answer.
Just in all humility and a little bit of tongue in cheek, Matt and I are like years ahead of ChatGPT when it comes to values. Here now, but I'm going to get really nitpicky on you. I'm picking the fly poo poo out of the pepper here, guys. Okay, so what I didn't like about it is the last part of what you said. Go back to the last part, Ben, when you talk about the pricing.
If
Say it again.
if the price or term don't align with the market, no one swipes right.
Go back before that, because you used a pronoun in that. That
So
somehow
even with the great photos, if your filter were off, you don't got matches. Selling the home is the same.
keep going.
If the price or terms don't align with the market, no one swipes right. My job is to align it so buyer can't.
There you go. My job is to align it. Okay, so I'm going to pick up on that. Then I'm going to say, okay, I wonder if that could lead into where should I price it, fan?
A and B, the point A and point B. Then goes to your thing, right?
Okay. All right. Just be careful of that. Anybody else willing to step up? I don't know why. You guys in recon were like hands going everywhere. It's kind of like happy fingers. What happens here with you guys, right? Let's talk.
I thought the analogy was good, and I really like fans' energy the way you said it the first time as well. It's kind of like light. That's what makes it like so indirect. But the only problem with these analogies is if Denny is going to play along or not, because I've seen you look at him dead in the face and say, nope, never use a dating app. And then what's the plan B from there? So sometimes the analogies are too witty. And I think fan one time said, have you been to the doctor before, Denny? And you said, nope. And then you're just kind of stuck like, well, let me explain how it works. And it's just off on a tangent.
You had something, either it was this morning or today, Daniel, you put something in, I don't know if we covered it. So do you remember what that was?
To cover today?
Yeah, I saw it. I thought it was today, maybe this morning you had something you wanted to cover.
No,
Why do you
earlier
think
in the
that?
week, it was not familiar with my neighborhood.
Okay. One of the ways that fan kind of covered himself when you want to ask a question, have you ever been to a doctor? Or have you ever raised kids when they may never have, and maybe it's a sensitive subject because they never could have kids, but this is what he did well. I don't know if chat came up with this or not, but have you ever been on the dating app or anyone you know? So sometimes if you want to cover all the bases, like, for example, have you raised kids, or do you know anyone that has kids, or have you been a kid yourself? I mean, you almost make light of the question. So you covered all the bases. There's no way they can say no to that. Does that make sense? So we haven't seen Susan in a while in California. She's looking fit and tan, so the market must be good there. What's going on in California?
The market's a little bit slow. Anything that is below $1 million goes, but anything above that is harder.
So you have more inventory growing in the multi-million-dollar category, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever raised kids or known someone who has kids, or maybe been a kid yourself? Yeah, I tell you, there's a guy, a bold coach, Scotty Toombs. It's funnier than crap. He's from Kentucky. Just listening to him is entertaining, but he always has those witty things to say. And I don't know what your style is. everyone has a gift in their communication style. Like, you know, you know numbers, or you're a storyteller, or you're super empathetic, or whatever. I use kind of wit. You notice it here clearly. Sometimes, most time, it doesn't work with you guys for whatever reason, but I try to keep it kind of interesting and zing. And so if whatever your gift is, don't try to be someone else. Like for me, you'll never see me telling a joke. Telling a joke is an art. I don't even tell stories that much, because telling the story, I break my 20-second rule. So who wants to maybe I don't know what you do when you're taking karate. You come out and you have to kind of like spar. Who wants to spar?
Denny, can I try an expired follow-up call?
Okay. Call Louise.
Hi, Louise. Oh, this wouldn't be Louise.
This voice sounds familiar. Is this Paulina?
Yes. Oh, so you remember me. How awesome, Louise. We spoke a couple of months ago about the sale of your home, and it wasn't a priority for you. I was just curious, has anything changed?
Yes. Yeah, we're actually in the process of interviewing agents. I'm so glad you called because I misplaced your information.
Awesome. Well, Louise, crazy question. How are you going to determine which agent you will hire?
I just gave you an open door. Thought that would have been a good time to go for the close, but I'll carry on. Well, we're interviewing 3 agents, and we're looking for A, B, and C.
And if an agent can meet and exceed your expectations and do A, B, and C, would you be open-minded to having a conversation with them?
Okay. I feel like you're reading a script because I gave you 2 open doors and you haven't gone for the close yet. Do you feel like you might, am I missing it, or am I hearing it differently? Did anyone else hear an opportunity to close twice?
Are you reading a script, Lena?
No. I just don't know, I guess, how to ask, because I don't want to ask too soon. Because
okay.
I don't.
Let me help you. What do you really want to know? Let's play the game. You see the pretty girl. Think, wow, what do you really? Will she go have a milkshake with me? I wonder. So, what do you really want to know? You're following up with an expired. What do you really want to know?
I want to see if, for example, Luis would say, in a month, it would be important for me to get the home sold. And then I can ask, well, why is that important to you, and possibly get an appointment.
All right. So if you could ask one question, all right, and they can't, if you had one question, what would it be? On a following up with expired, what would be the one question you would like to ask?
Are you considering selling?
All right. I play a game sometimes, and this, let's just work on this. I play a game sometimes, and this is good to play sometimes. If you have the right kind of friends, you like this kind of question. So let's say we're at a dinner party, and I'm not telling you a story. I'm just telling you a story. So sometimes I'm not a big conversationalist because it's like I don't talk a lot unless I'm talking about stuff that I'm interested in, I guess. However, play the game of the question. If you could ask God one question and he would answer it, what would it be? And I got 6 people. Now you only get one question for the 6 people, not one question each. Kind of interesting what comes up. So my question is, if you were following up with an expired, you can put it in the chat if you want. It'd be great. Let's read them off. What do you really want to know? And where I'm going with this is, sometimes are we not better off once we get through a bull ride, because you still have to do the bull ride because they may not remember you. If we cut the fluff out and just get to the point, I would appreciate that. Does that make sense? So Are you ready to list with, all right, so are you ready to list with me? Am I going to be rich? Is that a question for God or the expired? I'm just kind of curious. God, I don't have God's answers right now. Is selling still a priority? Okay, so I'm gonna be the seller. Jose, is selling still a priority? You get one question, one follow-up with that question. All right. Yes. What's your follow-up?
What's your plan?
Okay. Maria, can we do a follow-up? Oh, that's another request. Am I going to be rich? That's fan being funny, or back to Chat GPT. Where's the other questions? There was another one somewhere, Maria. Where is it? Or Louise?
Are you ready?
Can I apply for the job, fan? You get a follow-up. Yes, you may.
All right, Danny, what'll be a good time for you? Tuesday at 4 or Wednesday at 10 a.m.?
Perfect. Go for the close. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how many people, if you were on the other end of the phone, would just rather us be straightforward? Hey, listen, it's been 30 days since we chatted. Are you ready to have a conversation about hiring an agent to sell your home? One of the questions that you put in here, I just talked about it. Are you ready to list with me? Is that Omar? The first thing that goes through my mind, and Louise, you're so sweet to do this all the time, that may be the question. However, there's 5 mindsets of the potential buyer or seller. And I'm always, are you ready to list with an agent? Would be a question that would be a little safer, not as direct. Are you ready now to turn it over to a professional to help? All right. And then, well, can I apply for the job?
I said I was. I said I'm interviewing 3 agents. Right. So
Well,
is it possible that someone could talk themselves out of an appointment by talking too long?
what
I'm guilty of having done that myself.
I think so. And again, yes, I think you can. I think you only have so much time, and then it's kind of like the Gong Show. Anybody remember that?
Yeah.
You get gonged, and then you get pulled off the stage with a hook. So I would make it short and sweet. In fact, that might help them remember you. There was another scenario in there, Louise, that somebody put in. They wanted to cover, and we've got time to do it. Do you see it?
I don't, because I logged in late.
No, it came in here just recently.
Let's see. Dan or Fan's on a dating app, so I don't think it's Fan.
No, I got 6 analogies, so
Yeah, I know. I know.
Oh, Spar.
You could have
Kelly's
16.
ready.
Who?
Kelly's ready to spare a spar for us.
All right, who wants to spar? Kelly?
Kelly.
Okay, now Kelly is working on his questions, right? So what I want you to do, we're going to play the Gong Show with Kelly. So when he makes a statement, I want you to gong him. All right, you want me to be a buyer or seller, Kelly?
What do you want to be?
I want to be a buyer.
Why do you want to be a buyer? Oh, wait, have we started yet?
No.
I'm just asking questions. I thought you wanted to hear that.
Yeah, well, you're going to get gonged if you don't step into the ring. All right, let's go. All right, we're at the table. I think maybe waiting might be better, Kelly.
Why do you think waiting would be better?
So you guys that are bean counters, count the number of questions before he goes into a statement. All right. What you asked me? Why do I want to wait?
Yes, I'm asking you, why do you want to wait?
I think right now interest rates probably coming down, and my affordability might go up with that.
Where are you getting that information from? That's interesting.
Have you not heard that rates may come down?
I have heard this. Why interest rates coming down? Why do you think that would benefit you?
Okay, if you could pay less for something, would you do it?
Well, I probably would. So I would agree with you.
Gong.
Why? What benefits? What would happen if you weren't able to pay less?
Well, I don't think interest rates are going up, are they?
Well, I'm not sure, but why do you, where are you getting that information from?
I think we already sang this verse.
Yeah.
If Matt was here, he'd be like, you could say like, who knows? Or when he said, would you pay more for something? You would say, who wouldn't?
Now, what he's doing now, if me and my analogies, my daughter was a pretty good basketball player and played point guard for high school and right-handed. But if you want to be good at something, particularly basketball, you got to be able to use your left hand. So right now I have Kelly dribbling with his offhand. And it's not natural. You know, he's having to think. And however, this is how you develop it. So that was way to be brave. So you want to reverse it. I mean, Louise loves this. What do you call it? Reverse roll or
The
something?
role reversal, yeah.
Role reversal. So then come to me with that, Kelly. I'll just reverse it. All right, go.
I think I'm going to wait for interest rates to come down.
Okay, I understand. Well, what are you going to, what rate are you hoping to see?
The lowest one possible.
Okay, and let me ask, do you currently own now or rent?
I own.
Okay, and what if you own now and you're waiting for interest rates to drop? Are you thinking about buying another house to live in?
Possibly. Maybe an investment property.
Okay. So this will be an investment property, correct?
Possibly, yes.
Okay. Now he's trying to be a little slippery on me. He says possibly. So I'm just keep going.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
It's all right. So what is your goal in ownership of an investment property?
Well, my goal is to build a portfolio for retirement, a portfolio of homes for retirement.
Well, you look pretty young. When you say retirement, how long down the road are you looking for?
I think that will, well, down the road, I'd say 10, 11 years, but the sooner I can get more investment properties, the sooner I can retire.
Now we're going to phone a friend, Jose. I want you to stay on the track. I want you to ask 2 questions. I want you to hand it off to somebody else. There's an opportunity right there. When he said for retirement, before you go on, I want to know what you picked up. Where is a possible road to drive on that might be pretty solid?
I missed the first part of it. I was doing something else.
Okay. All right. David, coming to you.
He was swiping on his dating app, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was on the dating app for sure. All right. David, coming to you. If you're not prepared, don't do it. I want you to get ready. I'm going to call on someone who's prepared.
Get it one of the twins. They're always prepared.
I know, but they're always prepared, but
Susan. What about Susan?
Susan.
What was the question?
Beverly, you're going to be next.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Question.
All right. So, all right.
Oh,
Beverly,
investment. Okay, the retirement.
2 questions.
So when your retirement, you're looking to retire, when would that be?
No, I just asked that. He's not looking to retire. He's looking to build a portfolio for retirement.
Okay, and how big do you want your portfolio?
Okay.
If it's for retirement, it's a long-term hold. So
Yeah, hang on, David. Hang on. We're right in the middle of Susan. So, how big a portfolio do you want, Kelly?
I'd like to have 20 homes under my belt.
Okay. Susan,
Okay, only just homes, or are you also looking for commercials like retail and other asset class?
Yeah, I already have 1 commercial. I'd like to get 1 more.
Okay, there's your 2. There's your 2. All right, Beverly, you're next. 2 questions. Pick it up. David, you're going to be next.
What do you understand about planning for your retirement?
I
make
just know
sure.
that
Now, there's a bazillion questions you can answer. However, what is the nucleus of this discussion? Him wanting to wait for interest rates to drop. So we can ask him, well, who do you think? Do you think the Bucks will beat Pittsburgh tomorrow? I mean, but it doesn't have anything to do with this conversation.
Well, what
And
are
I'm not
you
saying-
waiting for? What number?
Okay.
well, I'm waiting for the bottom. We just don't know yet.
How will you know when you hit the bottom?
All right, there's your two. David, you're next. Polina, you'll be after David.
I don't know.
All right.
Skip.
Jose, you ready to step in? Denise, you want to play? All right, Polina, you're up.
Did someone ask how long are you willing to wait?
I don't think so. How long are you willing to wait?
I'm willing, you know, right now I'm in a holding pattern, so I don't have a definite answer on that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here. All right, you got one more question, please, and I'll land the plane.
What happens if the interest rates never go down, Kelly?
Well, then I'll just wait.
Wait for what? We can wait
Alright.
for.
I got it now. I want you to get, these are the questions we practice, but I want you to get in, I want you to get a little bit more off the main road. All right, so let me ask you, David, you have a question?
If the property's for retirement, would you be willing to refinance down the road when rates were better?
I'm always looking for better cash deals, of course.
Okay. And where is the money currently now?
What do you mean?
Because you're buying an investment property for cash flow, correct?
That's part of it, yes.
Yeah. So is the money that you're going to purchase the investment property invested into something now?
No, I'm just waiting to spend it before the end of the year.
So you're not making anything on that investment, on that current.
No, I have it set up in a fund where it's making some money, but it's liquidity, so I can pull it out fast.
Okay, great. All right, hang on. Let me land the plane because we're a little after 2 o'clock. All right, so let me ask you then. So you're building for retirement. You said that, right?
Yes,
That's 10 to 15 years down the road.
yes.
And you told me how many homes you want to own. So have you ever heard the term, in fact, do you know when the best time is to buy real estate?
When?
When sellers fear tomorrow is worse than today. Do you think that time exists right now?
I don't think so.
Okay. Have you ever heard the term that the best time, if you want to invest in real estate, you make your money when you buy it, not when you sell it? Have you ever heard that?
I have, yes.
So if we wait for interest rates to fall, what could that potentially do to housing values?
The values could drop based on the market today.
Explain that to me.
Well, right now we're based on what I've been researching, I've seen we're in what we call a balanced market or moving into a buyer's market. People are holding because interest rates are high. And when interest rates, and so the inventory is really high. So I'm seeing high inventory, no buyers, prices are still appreciated. And if the inventory picks up and swells and more buyers enter the market, then I think they're going to have to, and I think homes are going to have to be sold really quick. So people are going to level off more prices and probably see corrections all over the place.
So I don't have time to keep going, but if this were a conversation, we could dig into the fact that did anyone sense some things that he said that seemed to be inconsistent with how the real estate market works? So let me just give me one more minute. You want to wait to buy when interest rates drop, right?
Correct.
But you just said when interest rates drop, you think sellers' prices are going to drop. Are there
Correct.
buyers out there that think like you do? So if you're waiting for interest rates to drop, do you think there's other buyers waiting for interest rates to drop?
100%.
And so when you blow that whistle and they're all getting off the fence, gobbling up the inventory, what do you think that'll do with prices?
Well, I think it depends on the supply of homes. So if there's an inundation of supply of homes and the same is equal for amount of buyers, I think you're going to see competition amongst buyers, not so much against sellers.
So if you were a seller in Jamaica and you're selling t-shirts and you've got a lot of t-shirts, yet the cruise ship is coming in, are you taking the attitude like, shoot, I better dump this merchandise? Or you're going to think, well, I got a whole cruise ship coming in. I'm going to wait till the people get off the boat. What are you going to do? See, that's what I want you to be thinking about. Nothing. And Louise, I don't know how to really articulate this, but notice, Kelly, everyone had a question for you, but I'm trying to circle you back around. Here's where I'm going to drill, is that you're building a portfolio for 10 or 15 years. Does it freaking matter what interest rates are today? And that if you wait for the interest rates to drop, are there more buyers like you stepping into the market that's going to push the market up? See, he was given his answers. His answers are his answers, but they weren't really lining up with how I viewed the market. I'm not going to tell him he's wrong. So what did you guys hear out of that? What did you learn out of that, if anything, or what did you like or not like? Kelly, how did you feel about it? Go ahead, Louise.
Oh, I liked how we rotated asking questions. We got a lot of engagement there.
Okay. Kelly, what do you think?
Definitely when you can push questions off to multiple people, I think that's a huge benefit for people hearing other, just adding to their tool belt of questions to ask when they're going through the scenario. Also, when I was in the first role as the agent asking questions, I thought that was very good for left-hand dribbling, for sure.
It's awkward for a while. Yeah, I tell you, I learned something too on that too, Louise. I think it's a good thing. We'll do that more often. You know what it does? It makes people pay attention. If you feel like you're going to get called on, like the teacher goes around the room, you got to read a paragraph, you kind of pay attention until you got your paragraph read, then you go back to, playing Candy Crush.
Yeah, for sure. Susan's hand is raised. I don't know if that's
Hey,
intentional
Susan,
or not.
what's up?
Sorry about that. No, I was just, one of the things that I noticed is when Kelly was asking questions, he's asking the word why. And I was coached a long time ago, never use the word why, but instead replace with a how come. Because when you use the word why, you put the other side in a very defensive mode. It's almost like, why didn't you clean your house? Why did you not clean your room, and so forth. So I think it's more softer touch if you just ask, how come?
Right.
How come?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a pyramid actually in bold where you have to work your way up to the why. You're right about that. Well, hey, we're a couple minutes past 2. You guys are still there and you're on your toes. So I appreciate you being on Mastery. I'll continue my conversation with GPT chat and I'll leave you with this one to think about the next week. Do properties with bad conditions sell?
Yep.
And does it take longer to sell a property in bad condition as compared to selling a property in good condition? That'll be the question I want you to think about. The answer is not as easy as you think. So you guys have an awesome weekend. We'll see you on Recon. If I can add value to you, have any questions individually, Coach Denny Grimes at Gmail. I'll see you. Bye. Thanks, Louise.